I love Australia. I was just there, and I love Australian people. And being back home, their humor, I was like, I found my people again. I love these people. There's so much good happening in Australia. I was in Sydney. The priests are solid and good men, and Anthony Fisher, great bishop. Cardinal Pell, one day, please God, be a saint.
Yeah.
But in my small town in South Australia, it was like, it became almost a joke because everyone my mother would refer to, bloody so-and-so. Yeah. Oh, yeah, their marriage busted up and everyone was divorced or dead or committed suicide.
Mercy.
But you've got this government now that steps in to sort of supplement what the fundamental building block, once it is obliterated, there has to be compensation to buoy right? to buoy up the mass. So you look around and everything kind of looks clean and neat, and the roads are nice, and certainly don't look like Steubenville. It's a lot more beautiful than that, in the sense of that you don't have broken down buildings where I live. But it's like just decimation, just suicide and divorce. But just this, it at least appears to me, and this may just be because I live in America now, but this overreach of the government into every aspect of your life. I don't know, Thursday, maybe you can look this up, but when I was a kid, I know that women would get paid $5,000 to have a baby or something like that. And you're like, oh, that's cool. It's like, yeah, but no, it's not, because the husband becomes unnecessary.
Yeah.
Well, the husband's not there, so now the government has to become necessary, and so there's this ever-increasing dependence upon a state.
Yes, when families collapse, just as you said, the government has to step in, and in a kind of tyrannical way. And that is the world we live in right now. It's not some prediction of an apocalyptic future.
Yeah.
But there are great signs of hope. And here I want to quote, his name is Carlo Lanzalotti. This is the guy I first learned about Wilhelm Reich from.
Okay.
So this is the hope. In the midst of this tragic breakdown of the family, which has the ripple effect, because what's the fundamental cell of society? It's the family. When you take out that foundation, it's only a matter of time before the whole edifice of civilization crumbles. And we're living through that.
Real quick, why is that the case? Why isn't the individual the fundamental building block of society?
Well, society, the very word, we are social beings. An individual is not a society, right? Society is the coming together of individuals. And the fundamental coming together of individuals is male and female. He created them and called the two to be fruitful and multiply.
Right.
There is no society.
Individuals come from families.
Correct.
Correct. Before families come from individuals.
Right.
Yeah. Marvel is often accused of having really bad villains. I think they should come up with a new villain that just seeks to destroy the fundamental building block of society by pushing free pornography into the homes of everybody. Here we go. 20 seconds of research, says Thursday. We'll cut it later if we're wrong. They had a benefit credit for children. Amount was dependent on income of the household. Yeah. So just in Australia.
Yeah. And on the one hand...
And it's hard to be critical of that because, you live in America. You're like, crap, I'm going to pay $10,000 for a kid and I can't afford this. So I'm not praising the American medical situation either, but...
Yeah, much could be said about that, about how do we, once we're in this bad situation, how do we handle it? What is the responsible use of government funds to fix a bad problem? But the amount of, it's like we're shooting ourselves in the foot, or what's the other expression? We're cutting off the branch we're sitting on.
Yeah.
We continue to perpetuate the root of the problem.
Or my favorite, cutting off your head to stop a nosebleed.
Yeah. There's the problem. But here's the hope. Carlo Lanzalotti observes that the denial of the religious sense of eros is truly paradigmatic of the sexual revolution as an epical phenomenon. And he goes on here. He maintains that the sexual revolution, quote, is not just one phenomenon among many in the world today. Rather, it's the phenomenon that marks our epoch. The sexual revolution is the phenomenon that marks the time we are living in. Right?
Epoch, is that what that is?
Yeah, you would say epoch. We would say epic here in
the good old America.
In good old America, right. But based on Reich's own challenge to the church as to whether the church is right about the nature of eros as a yearning for God, Here's Lancelotti's note of hope. We can also see how the era of the sexual revolution will end. And this is a quote from Carlo Lancelotti. He says, "It will end by a rediscovery of the full scope of human desire, of the fact that desire that we feel really is a longing for the infinite, really is a longing for God, that mere stimulation of genitals can never, ever reach."
It's funny that we keep putting this car back on the road and expecting it to run. You would think you just have to live 5 minutes or have 5 sexual experiences until you realize, as good as it isn't what you want.
It isn't what
it's not the fulfillment of what you want. Or check this out. Hungary pays couples who get married and pays child benefit based on the salary given up by a parent staying at home. It'd be cool. I think that could be one way that governments could help, is maybe stop taxing families that have over 3 children or something like that.
Yeah.
Give them massive
there should
benefits.
obviously the incentive should be towards the family. I mean, there again, how do you help a broken situation when it's broken? You have to do something, but still there must be an incentive that incentivizes men and women to become husbands and wives and mothers and fathers. If we don't do that, guess what's over? Civilization itself. Because civilization is the making civil of the relationship of man and woman. How do we make it civil?
It's a good argument for colonization. I know I'm getting into deep waters here, but I really want to explore that more. You've got
colonization?
just Christians like England coming into countries and civilizing people.
You're not talking about launching to Mars and colonizing other planets.
No. But I mean, people get and I know that evil things take place and did take place, but wanting to make people civil. I'm gonna have to do a whole episode on this.
Yeah, how do we renew a culture? You can't renew a culture unless you renew marriage and family life. And you can't renew marriage and family life unless you return to the full truth of eros. What is eros? And what we've done in the modern world with people like Reich is we've taken a scientific approach to everything, right? Thank you, God, for science. It's done so much good for us. Thank you, God, right? Another caveat, I'm not in any way down on science. What I'm down on, and what anyone who sees the world sacramentally is down on, is reducing everything to what only science can tell us about it. Right? When you take merely a scientific approach to human sexuality, you will be blind to the sacramentality of human sexuality. And the example I often use here is you remember the old Peter Gabriel song, "In your eyes, the light, the heat, in your eyes, I am complete." And then he says, and this is someone who sees sacramentally. He says, "In your eyes, I see the doorway to 1,000 churches." You're like, oh, he sees this woman's body as a theological reality. Yeah. Right? We need poets. We need these artists. We need these people with these mystical insights to give us a language, right? To understand these deeper realities. What would happen if we reduced that song to something merely biological? In your eyes, the cornea. In your eyes, the retina. In your eyes, I see the lines of 1,000 bloodshot blood vessels. And I often say, rightly so, thank God for optometrists and all they can tell us about corneas and retinas and blood vessels. But ladies, you know, you want the man in your life.
Even if he's an optometrist.
Even if he's an optometrist, exactly, to see not just your cornea and your retina, but to see the doorway to 1,000 churches.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, do us a favor, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of the video, like, and subscribe.